Riddle me this. You seek me out in search of power, but get too much, you'll want a shower. What am I? Knowledge, of course. And I've got 107 nuggets of knowledge about the Batman here for you. This is 107 facts about the Batman.
Welcome to Cinematica, your new home for all things movies and TV. From Doctor Who to Harry Potter, we'll be going through all your favorites and favorites you didn't even know you had. Before we begin, we publish new videos every week, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video.
Number 1. The Batman is written and directed by Matt Reeves. Peter Craig shares the billing with Reeves as co-writer. Number 2. In a way, development on the Batman has been in the works as far back as 2013. It all started when Ben Affleck was first cast as Batman for Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. Once Affleck donned the cowl, Warner Bros. Always intended to give him a shot at his own standalone Batman movie. Number 3. Affleck wasn't slated to just perform though. He was also in the running to direct, produce, and write the next solo Batman film with Geoff Johns as his co-writer. Number 4. Sure enough, Affleck and Johns finished their first Batman draft by March 2016. Although it was an original story, the plot was inspired by a number of Batman comics, including 1989's Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Earth, and the Nightfall series that ran from 1992 to 1994. They even pulled some cues from the video game Batman Arkham Asylum. Number 5. Their script placed Batman in the bowels of Arkham Asylum, with Deathstroke orchestrating a prison break to run him down. For the climax, Batman and Deathstroke would have a final showdown in the streets of Gotham. Number 6. At one point, Batgirl would show up to lend Batman a hand. Also, the script showed Batman dealing with the tragedy of Robin's death. Number 7. This original Affleck Batman movie made it far enough along to start casting. Joe Manganiello was all set to play Deathstroke. While he never got to play the main villain, you can still see Manganiello's Deathstroke in the end credits teaser of Justice League. Number 8. That Justice League teaser is actually reworked footage of a different end credits scene that Zack Snyder originally shot to tease Affleck's Batman. In the original teaser, Lex Luthor reveals Batman's secret identity to Deathstroke. While all of Deathstroke's shots are from the original, they had to bring Jesse Eisenberg back for reshoots. Number 9. In October 2016, Affleck officially revealed that the next Batman would be called simply The Batman. Shooting was set to begin in the middle of 2017, all in preparation for a 2018 release. Number 10. However, just a few months later, in January 2017, Ben Affleck suddenly backed out as director of The Batman. While he forfeited the directing chair, he was still on board to star and even produce. Number 11. Warner Bros. Wasted no time replacing him as director. After some negotiations, Matt Reeves signed on as director by the end of February 2017. Other than Matt Reeves, some other directors that WB considered included Ridley Scott and Denis Villeneuve. Number 12. Before agreeing to direct, Matt Reeves had a few conditions. One included full creative control. Warner Bros. Sent Reeves, Affleck, and Johns' script, and while Reeves respected their take on Batman, he scrapped it for his own story. For the other condition, Reeves needed some time to finish War of the Planet of the Apes before he could dive into the Batman whole hog. So Warner Bros. Pushed back production on the Batman until Reeves was free. Number 13. That didn't stop him from getting a head start though. Reeves started writing the Batman in 2017. He initially connected the Batman to the DC Extended Universe, but quickly reworked the script to be about a younger Batman with his own separate timeline and world. Number 14. To do so, Reeves had to get the final sign-off from Warner Bros. Lucky for him, they had already started dabbling in the idea of a multiverse, so they gave him the green light. WB actually considers this new Batman as having taken place in an alternate Earth 2. Number 15. With Reeves' new direction, things were looking dire for Batfleck. By July 2017, WB was already looking to give Affleck the boot behind the scenes. To make matters worse, Affleck went into rehab for alcohol abuse in August of 2018. Number 16. That same month, Reeves announced that he would be finishing his Batman script over the following weeks and was looking to start production early to mid-2019. Sure enough, he handed a finished draft to Warner Bros. In September. Number 17. In January 2019, Warner Bros. Announced the first planned release date of The Batman, June 25th, 2021. At the same time, Affleck put all the rumors to bed and officially confirmed that he was out as Batman. Number 18. While Reeves' script featured a younger Batman than Affleck's, Affleck had a number of personal reasons for dropping out of the project. Aside from his struggles with drinking, he was also dealing with his divorce from Jennifer Garner. On top of that, he apparently had a miserable experience last time he rocked the Batsuit for the Justice League movie. Number 19. Unlike Affleck and Johns' Batman script, which Reeves likened to a James Bond movie, Reeves was looking to take his version of Batman through a neo-noir detective story. He was largely inspired by 90s Batman comic stories, Batman the Long Halloween, and its sequel, Dark Victory. Number 20. While The Long Halloween was the biggest influence, a few other Batman comics crept in there as well, including Zero Year, Ego, and Batman Year One. When news of a younger Batman story dropped, fans immediately drew comparisons to Year One. However, Reeves was quick to assure that they weren't doing Year One wholesale. Number 21. Reeves didn't limit his influences to Batman or even comics. For the noir detective element of the Batman, he looked to new Hollywood films from the 70s like The French Connection, Chinatown, and Taxi Driver. Number 22. He even drew from historical examples too. In the movie, Mayor Don Mitchell Jr. and District Attorney Gil Colson have the same last names as John and Mitchell and Charles Colson. Both worked under the Nixon administration and were convicted as part of the Watergate scandal. Number 23. Reeves also based elements of Carmine Falcone on Boston's infamous Winter Hill Gang leader Whitey Bulger. Number 24. Even Reeves' musical tastes worked their way into the Batman. For example, the band Nirvana is all over this movie. While writing the first act, Reeves would listen to Nirvana's song Something in the Way. He even based Bruce Wayne's brooding and reclusive nature on Nirvana's late frontman, Kurt Cobain. Number 25. Of course, you can literally hear the Nirvana influence when you watch the movie. Not only was Something in the Way front and center in the Batman's first trailer, the song is featured twice in the film itself. Number 26. Many actors have tried their hand at playing the Caped Crusader. Well, for the Batman, it was Robert Pattinson's turn. Number 27. Reeves had envisioned Robert Pattinson as his Batman from the outset. He even wrote the script with Pattinson in mind. He thought he would be perfect for the role after seeing Pattinson's performance in Good Time. Number 28. Robert Pattinson was Reeves' number one pick for Batman, but there were some other contenders if Pattinson couldn't do it. Other potential Batmans included Nicholas Hoult, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and even Armie Hammer, before the whole cannibalism thing. Number 29. When Robert Pattinson auditioned, they had him wear Val Kilmer's old Batman costume from Batman Forever. Apparently, it was the only suit on site that actually fit him, and even then, it wasn't very comfortable. Number 30. Like Batman himself, Robert Pattinson had a contingency plan in case things didn't work out for him. He made sure to sneak a selfie of himself in the Batsuit as a keepsake, just in case he didn't get the part. Number 31. Pattinson had to sneak around just to get the audition. At the time, he was in rehearsals with Christopher Nolan for Tenet. Pattinson would tell Nolan that he had a family emergency, but Nolan didn't buy it. He knew all about the Batman audition. Nolan even knew Pattinson got the role before Pattinson got the chance to tell him. Sounds like Nolan would have been a perfect Riddler, always one step ahead. Number 32. At one point, Robert Pattinson insisted that he didn't physically prepare for the role. While he didn't pack on an absurd amount of muscle, he did train in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to condition himself. Number 33. If you can believe it, Jonah Hill was in the running to be the Batman's villain. No one's sure whether he was looking to be either Riddler or the Penguin, but we do know that the negotiations didn't get that far. Hill backed out after about a month of talks. Number 34. In hindsight, it's hard to picture anybody but Paul Dano as the Riddler, aka Edward Nashton. Number 35. In the comics, the Riddler's real name has classically been Edward Nygma, so why did the Batman change it to Nashton? Well, they didn't. In some of the comic stories, the Riddler changed his original name from Edward Nashton to Edward Nygma. Number 36. But what about the Riddler's other license that we see, the one that says Patrick Parker? Turns out that was never one of the Riddler's aliases, not in an official capacity at least. Around November of 2013, someone added Patrick Parker to the list of aliases on the Riddler's Wikipedia page, and no one ever caught it. Well, looks like the real-life Riddler wins. Patrick Parker is now at least semi-official. Number 37. Whatever you want to call him, the Riddler was written with Paul Dano in mind. Specifically, Reeves liked Dano's performance as Beach Boys founder Brian Wilson in the biopic Love and Mercy. Reeves wrote the Batman's Riddler with bits of Brian Wilson thrown in there, and Dano brings elements of Brian Wilson into his Riddler performance. Number 38. Aside from Brian Wilson, Reeves' version of the Riddler was also inspired by the infamous, ever-elusive Zodiac Killer from the late 1960s. Reeves considers the Zodiac Killer to be a kind of real-life Riddler. Number 39. To prepare for the role, Dano would read books all about serial killers. He'd get so freaked out that he'd have to read them in public. Reading them alone at home creeped him out too much. Number 40. It was Dano's decision to wrap his head in saran wrap. He felt going so far as to avoid leaving DNA traces meshed with the Riddler's meticulous personality. Before the saran wrap, Dano's original idea was to shave all of his body hair. Number 41. The plastic wrap ended up being more difficult than Dano had anticipated. Since there was no way for his body heat to escape, Dano's face would turn bright red. To compensate, he poked a bunch of tiny holes into the saran wrap so his head could breathe. Number 42. Riddler's mask is actually a vintage US Army winter combat mask. Costume designer Jacqueline Duran bought it off eBay, and Dano picked it out with her help. Number 43. Paul Dano also tried on hundreds of different pairs of glasses before going with the clear frames the Riddler wears. Number 44. Dano would go through hundreds of options to get it right. For the scene where he FaceTimes Batman with Gil Colson, Dano did over 200 takes of that video call. Number 45. One of the Bat and the Cat, Catwoman aka Selina Kyle, is a major player in The Batman, and she's played by Zoe Kravitz. Number 46. Zoe Kravitz is a natural to play Catwoman. She already voiced the character in the Lego Batman movie. Number 47. While Zoe Kravitz ended up securing the part, she wasn't alone in auditioning. Plenty of other actresses tried out to be Catwoman, including Ana de Armas, Zazie Beetz, and Alicia Vikander. Number 48. Like Selina Kyle herself, Zoe Kravitz went all in on the cat angle. She watched footage of cats and lions, learning how to move like them. She was also inspired by Catwoman from Year One and Michelle Pfeiffer's performance in Batman Returns. Number 49. What's a cat without claws? In The Batman, Catwoman has long, unpainted nails. Those were actually Zoe Kravitz's idea. Number 50. Sure, Catwoman is one of Batman's friends in a few different senses, but Batman could only go so far without his trusty butler, Alfred Pennyworth, played by Andy Serkis. Reeves offered Serkis the role while they worked together on War of the Planet of the Apes. Number 51. If you squint real hard, you may just be able to see that Colin Farrell plays Oswald Cobblepot, Gotham's very own Penguin. It's hard to believe, but he's in there. Number 52. The Penguin's facial prosthetic is comprised of 6 different pieces. Before shooting, the makeup artist would shine a bright light on Colin Farrell's face to make sure that the seams were invisible. Number 53. As amazing as the prosthetic looks, the original plan wasn't to use a prosthetic at all. Colin Farrell had just been filming The North Water, which he gained a bunch of weight for. Reeves was optimistic about Farrell just retaining the weight to play the Penguin. However, Farrell refused and shed the weight for health reasons. Number 54. The Penguin looks convincing, but he's missing a key ingredient: his classic cigarette. Farrell even suggested the idea of a cigar for the Penguin to chew on. However, Warner Brothers put their foot down and wouldn't allow the Penguin to smoke anything. Kids would be watching, and you'd hate for the Penguin to set a bad example. Number 55. To test his unrecognizability, Colin Farrell went out in his full Penguin to get a coffee. Nobody recognized him, but he apparently caught a number of stares. Number 56. While writing the Penguin, Reeves was inspired by Fredo from the Godfather movies. He sees the Penguin as an insecure, low-level goon desperate for respect in a dangerous world. Number 57. Forget Fredo though, let's look at Gotham City's own Michael Corleone, Carmine Falcone, played by John Turturro. Number 58. Turturro was actually able to bring some first-hand experience into playing Gotham's top crime lord. Growing up in New York City, John Turturro's dad always warned him about the mafia. Turturro also got some notes from his son, Amadio, who's an editor at DC Comics. Number 59. Falcone's old-school mobster glasses were also Turturro's idea. He considers them Falcone's version of a mask, just like Batman, the Riddler, and Catwoman. Number 60. Where there's crime in Gotham, you know that James Gordon isn't far behind. He's only a lieutenant in The Batman, but he's played by Jeffrey Wright. Number 61. This is the first time that a live-action Gordon has been depicted as African American. Number 62. To play Gordon, Jeffrey Wright looked to the Batman comics like The Long Halloween, but also real-life examples. Specifically, he modeled much of his Gordon performance after New York City's current mayor, Eric Adams. Before he was elected, Adams had a long history working in the New York Police Department. Number 63. Batman has a number of iconic characters, but some of the most iconic characters never say a word. Of course, I'm referring to the Batcave and the Batmobile. Both were already being worked on before Reeves even finished the script. Number 64. The Batcave was based on Track 61, a secret train station beneath the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in NYC. It was part of a system of private subway tunnels that VIPs used in the early 1900s. Number 65. The Batcave was created as a partial set at the Warner Brothers Studios in Leavesden, and doubled as the foundation for Wayne Manor. Number 66. Production designer James Chinland created digital sets in virtual reality to show Reeves. That way they could plan filming before they actually went and built anything. With VR, Reeves was able to storyboard the whole film using screen grabs from the headset. Number 67. Aside from the obvious NYC influence, looking at you, Gotham Square Garden, this version of Gotham has notes of Chicago and Pittsburgh mixed in there. Number 68. For the Batmobile, Reeves wanted to ditch the high-tech designs of recent Batmobiles for something that felt more grounded. Specifically, he wanted it to have a muscle car vibe. Number 69. As part of that aesthetic, Reeves wanted the Batmobile to feel like a wild beast. To make it feel like a horrifying monster, Reeves looked to Stephen King's Christine, a story about a sentient car that goes on a killing spree. Number 70. Chinland wanted this Batmobile to feel functional over fashionable. You'll see the steel bumper on the back of the frame that Batman uses to push stuff out of the way. However, the back is completely open. Number 71. If you look closely at the Batmobile's engine, you may think it looks a bit like a bat symbol. Well, that's no coincidence. Fans noticed right away, but Ash Thorpe, the Batmobile's designer, confirmed that the resemblance was intentional. Number 72. As for the rest of the Batmobile, the roof is actually from a 1969 Dodge Charger. The main Batmobile even had a 650 horsepower Chevrolet V8 engine. Number 73. The team used 4 Batmobiles in total. One of the other ones used a Tesla base so that it wouldn't be as loud for indoor and nighttime shooting. Number 74. As for what you can hear in the final movie, the Batmobile's engine was inspired by the sound of a bottle rocket. While the main unit used a Chevy engine, you'll hear a Ford big block engine. The supercharger you heard was actually a reversed recording of an old World War II Jeep. Number 75. So we've got the Batcave and the Batmobile, but what about the Batsuit? Well, it was designed by supervisor Dave Crossman and concept artist Glyn Dillon. All in all, it took them about a year to finish the design. Number 76. They took scans of Robert Pattinson's body while he was filming Tenet, and Glyn Dillon used them as reference for the Batsuit's concept art. Number 77. Over the whole production, the team used more than 20 different Batsuits. Number 78. Reeves wanted the Batsuit to look like Batman had assembled it with spare parts. He wanted it to feel like repurposed Vietnam War-era gear. He also upheld 2 pillars for the Batsuit. It needed to look the part, and it needed to be mobile enough for Pattinson to fight in. Number 79. To look the part, they colored the Batsuit with different grays instead of just dark black. That way the suit was more visible in dark scenes. They also switched the utility belt from yellow to black to make it more believable, and added all kinds of bloodstains and marks from bullets to the rest of the suit. Number 80. The Batsuit ended up being flexible enough that Pattinson started doing somersaults as soon as he put on the first prototype version. Number 81. Perhaps the most important aspect of the latest Batsuit came from Christian Bale. When he and Robert Pattinson met to discuss the role, Christian Bale advised Pattinson to make sure the suit afforded him the opportunity to relieve himself. Number 82. As for Batman's other gadgets, his grapple gun slides out of a hidden compartment. This was inspired by the similar homemade slide that Travis Bickle used in Taxi Driver. Number 83. What about that bright green booster that Batman injects himself with? Lots of fans speculated that it was Venom, the chemical that has classically given Bane his strength in the comics. Well, sorry Bane fans. According to prop master Jamie Wilkinson, it's just regular old adrenaline. Number 84. Bane is nowhere to be seen, but sure enough, the Joker does make an appearance towards the end of the Batman. He's played by Barry Keoghan. Number 85. Technically, we can only assume it's the Joker. The character that Riddler talks to in prison is actually listed in the credits as Unseen Arkham Prisoner. Number 86. While the secret's out now, Reeves was trying to keep the Joker under wraps as much as possible. He announced that Barry Keoghan was cast, but as Stanley Merkel, Gordon's partner from year one. They even shot fake scenes with Keoghan as Merkel to throw people off the trail. Number 87. Of course, it was all for nothing. Keoghan's brother ended up leaking Barry's role on social media before the Batman could hit theaters. Number 88. There's actually a whole deleted scene with Joker where Batman goes to prison to talk to him about the Riddler case. Reeves wanted to convey that the two had some history, though it's early on for both of them. He was largely inspired by Hannibal Lecter's scenes in Silence of the Lambs. Number 89. For his depiction of the Joker, Reeves went with the idea of a biological abnormality that causes his permanent smile, as opposed to Heath Ledger's scars. According to Reeves, this Joker created this clown persona to cope with the cruel joke life played on him. Number 90. Don't hold your breath for Keoghan's Joker to come back though. Reeves didn't leave the final scene of him in as an Easter egg or a tease for the next movie. He wanted to show that even though the day is saved, Gotham's criminals are still bubbling beneath the surface. Number 91. Rest assured, there are a few Easter eggs though. Falcone calls Batman Zorro at one point. There are many versions of Batman where his parents were killed leaving the theater after watching Zorro. Zorro was also an early influence on Batman's creation. Number 92. Wayne Towers' address is 139 Kane Street, a reference to Batman creator Bob Kane. Number 93. Batman's line, "I'm vengeance," is a reference to the classic line from Batman the Animated Series. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman. Number 94. Vengeance was actually the working title for the Batman during filming. Number 95. While the second unit filming started in December 2019, principal photography for the Batman began January 2020 in London. Filming didn't wrap until March 2021. Number 96. I'm sure I don't have to tell you what took so long. Good old COVID. Warner Brothers didn't originally plan to suspend production, but on March 14th, 2020, they put everything on hold for about 2 weeks. However, by March 25th, they suspended filming indefinitely. Number 97. Tragically, the Batman's dialect coach, Andrew Jack, died of COVID on April 1st. Number 98. Later in the year, production was cleared to resume in July at the earliest, but didn't get moving again until late August, early September. Number 99. Just days into restarting production, Robert Pattinson got COVID, forcing another stoppage for 2 weeks so everyone could quarantine. At the very least, sets and props were still being built during the hiatus. Number 100. Once Pattinson was cleared, filming resumed on September 17th, but with many additional precautions in place. Filming was limited to England and the crew members needed to live close to the studio. They also weren't permitted to travel until filming was over. Number 101. Pattinson and Reeves wore earpieces so they could communicate with each other from a safe, non-transmissible distance. Some scenes were even filmed using remote control cameras. Number 102. For extra safety, Reeves constructed his own safety burrito, consisting of a mask, scuba goggles, and an extra head covering. As the director, he wanted to be extra sure not to get sick. Number 103. By early October, the Batman had missed its updated release deadline, so Warner pushed the release back to March 2022. Finally, the movie was released to wide audiences on March 4th. Number 104. The Batman clocks in at 2 hours and 56 minutes, making it the longest Batman movie ever made. It beat out the previous record holder, The Dark Knight Rises, by 12 minutes. Number 105. If you can believe it, the Batman used to be even longer. In late 2021, Warner Brothers held screenings of a rough 4-hour cut of the movie to get audience feedback. Number 106. With a budget between 185 and 200 million, how did this behemoth of a movie do? Well, the Batman pulled in over 767 million in global box office sales, so I'd say it did alright for itself. Number 107. So what's next for the Batman? A sequel was announced in April 2022 with Reeves and Pattinson to return. This time, Matt Tomlin is credited as co-writer. He helped with the script for the Batman, but only Reeves and Craig were credited.
Did you enjoy our list? What facts do you think we missed? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're there, like and subscribe to see more great videos every week. And remember, Frederator loves you.